What's up, everybody? Hey, this is yours truly, Mr. Roberto Lorenzo Ferguson. That is Robert Ferguson. I am your nutritionist. I'm a guy who shares because I care. And today is no different than any other day because I'm going to share with you an ingredient that you may be consuming. And I would be willing to bet that most people are eating this. They don't know they're eating it because part of it is that the government does not have to disclose that you're actually consuming the ingredient that I'm going to share with you. Now, the good news is that today you will know. You will know about this ingredient, if we want to call it that is causing major harm in people's bodies. I mean, this is no joke. Now, before I get started, I do want to encourage you to read whatever is in the description. If you have questions, suggestions, we're open to it. If you have not been to our YouTube channel, please go. Make sure you like and subscribe so that we can reach more people, because everyone would benefit from being informed when it comes to your health. And like trans fats back in the day, people are eating them. They don't know they're eating them. And many people, thousands, millions of people died prematurely because of trans fats. It was introduced into our food supply heavy beginning in 1911 by Procter & Gamble with a product called Crisco. Back then, they told you that it was healthy. It was an alternative to butter. It was an alternative to tallow and suet and other natural fats that you could cook with. And people made great pies. And people still swear by those pies if it's made with Crisco. But it killed a lot of people. And not until 2018 was it finally removed from our food supply, even though other countries had already done that. Well, what I'm going to share with you today is just like that, if not worse. Okay, so I put together a little presentation for you. Let me see. Let's get it set up and to the stage. How was that, everybody? I think I did a pretty good job there. Hey, hey, hey. Okay. Now that I have you, let's look at my little presentation slide. So as you can see at the very top, it says chronic health conditions have dramatically increased since the early 1900s. And one of the leading culprits is the consumption of vegetable seed oils. Now, in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be interviewing a very solid, proven researcher, scientist, physician who is going to share information with you based on some serious studies on what is taking place. And then we're going to have the conversation about why is it still being put in our food supplies? Why are we still consuming vegetable seed oils? Why is it that the American Heart Association's website encourages you to use seed oils? It's interesting. And it will come across a little bit of a conspiracy, but it's not a conspiracy when you bring all the facts. So we have the facts. Now, the thing that I'm referring to today is vegetable oils. So let's read a little bit and what I mean by vegetable oils. So vegetable oils are ubiquitous. They're in restaurants, fast food, casual dining, fine dining, Ruth Chris, Fleming's, Morton's. I mean, it's everywhere. Okay, it's in packaged foods, breads, crackers, granola, cereals, chips, mayonnaise, sauces, fried food, ice cream, baked goods, everywhere. Oh, man. Vegetable oils now account for 20% of our daily calories, which represents the greatest increase in sources of calories in the last 200 years. It's actually worse than this. It's worse than this. And again, I'm going to share with you something. Now, there's a video I want to play for you. I didn't have it queued up, but I will find it and I will play you this video because it's going to tell all of us something very, very important. Okay. So watch this, and then I'm going to comment on it. Okay. And I want your thoughts. What comes to mind with this video? I really want to hear your thoughts. Okay. So let's play.
About to baptize that chicken. Nice and pretty already, and we ain't even dropped it in the grease yet. About to wheel it on down. This is what you want right here. It only been 2 minutes. Look at that color. Only 2 minutes. Who frying chicken like this? Crispy, pretty. Popeyes ain't doing like this. We'll be back in another 3-4 minutes. All right, here we go, we back. They're floating, they crispy, they got the color I want. Somebody about to eat good today. Number 2 going down.
Number 2, he said.
Crispy too.
Do you think he changed that oil?
I'm gonna roll them on down and baptize them.
I don't think
That's
so.
what you want right there. As soon as it hit the grease, batch number 2. Crispy, 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 crispy.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, a lot of people are like, hey, that looks good. I saw this video on TikTok and I was like, I got to share this. Because one, the oils that he's cooking in, okay, the oils that he's cooking, they have already gone through a process where they're oxidized. And when they're oxidized, before you even get it, before you can even eat it in the kitchen, it's already compromising your health before you even taste it. And then you're cooking with it. And one of the things that just jumped out to me is he said, you know, I'm going to do this again. And in doing this again, I'm going to cook it again, like another, you know, let's put on some more chicken. That means he's reusing the oil. If you want cancer, more than if you smoke cigarettes, cook food in reuse oil. That's carcinogenic. You know how many people are putting on fish fries this summer and they're reusing the oil? And when you start looking deeper and deeper, you start to go, man, wait a minute, we're doing some things wrong. And I would say most people don't know which oils to cook in, like the deep frying, to cook a turkey in, to cook regular food in. I can't tell you how many people that I meet to this day that are using grapeseed oil because someone told them to use it, or they heard that it would be healthier. And it's very high in the inflammatory oils. But there's an ingredient that we all need to know about. So I'm going to share it with you now. Okay. Now, this is just a snapshot of some of the oils you want to not cook with. You don't want to use, because these oils are all high in what they call linoleic acid. Linoleic acid is part of the unsaturated, the polyunsaturated fats, and is heavy on the omega-6 side. And when you consume a significant amount of omega-6, which most people, and especially the oils that have been oxidized before you even get them, then you increase your risk for many chronic illnesses, big time. These oils you don't want to be using. They're not helping you. They're not. And some of you are influencers in fitness, just influencers. Some of you got people thinking to eat a certain way with nutrition. And it's not your fault. You just hadn't learned yet, right? So the goal is, let's become knowledgeable so that we can share accurate information that can actually help people. Now, we could all debate and argue over the oils. I told you that they already go through this major transformation before they put them inside of, you know, whatever the jar or the bottle, the plastic jug, whatever it is they're going to put the oils in. But they take them through a very unnatural extraction process. So these oils, right, come from these seeds like canola, soybean, corn oil. They go through a process where there's a lot of heat. And I'm telling you, there's a whole bunch that goes on. They deodorize it. it goes through a lot. It's heated up again, then cool down. Heated up again and cool down to make it where it's edible. So it's already been oxidized. So the oil, by the time we get it, again, I'm stressing this, it's already damaged goods. It's already damaged goods. Okay. So we know that. So what is that ingredient that Robert is referring to? It's called hexane. Hexane. It's an industrial cleaner. It's a degreaser. And it's proven to have adverse effects on our health as human beings. And this is where you're going to get upset. Because there's a loophole. Like when you buy the oil, you don't see hexane as one of the ingredients, but it is. Hexane is one of the ingredients in the oil that you're probably using. Now, if you have extra virgin olive oil, you're good. Don't worry about it. But, you know, and that's why cold press becomes a big deal. If it's extra virgin, that means that it's cold press. It's automatic. If you don't see extra virgin, that means some of the oil could be cold pressed, but not all of it. So the key words that you want on any oil, and the only oil I buy is extra virgin olive oil. I use that and butter. Occasionally I'll buy ghee, depending on the recipe that I'm going to make up. But extra virgin olive oil, and I pay for really good extra virgin olive oil. Make sure it's organic. Okay, very important. That's best for you. And if you don't see extra virgin, I would put it down and choose something else. Okay. Now, if it gets in a deep frying, that's a whole nother conversation. I'm not going to go there today. But let's look at this loophole. I'm going to read this straight from the National Institute of Health. It says, quote, you can go to their website and see this. Hexane is a solvent used extensively in the food industry for the extraction of various products such as vegetable oils, fats that we can buy, flavors, fragrances, color additives, or other bioactive ingredients. As it is classified as a processing aid, here's the loophole. If they call it a processing aid, then it's not identified as an ingredient. And if it's not an ingredient, it doesn't have to be mentioned on the label. So the loophole, the get around, the bamboozle moment is that they identified as a processing aid. You're consuming hexane. So let's think about the compound effect of consuming something like this for 15, 20, 30 years. Like, where did gout come from? Where did that autoimmune challenge that you're dealing with, where did that come from? Where did a lot of these fibromyalgia and Hashimoto's, like, where did they started coming from? I mean, in 1979, no one had fatty liver that was non-alcoholic. And today, 1 in 2 adults have it in America and Canada. They're living with fatty liver. Like, what happened from 1979 to now? See, there's a compound effect, you guys, of taking in these foreign objects into our body. It may not affect you in your 20s. It may not affect you in your 30s, maybe not even your 40s. Same as smoking a cigarette. Smoking one cigarette ain't going to kill you. It's the compound effect of smoking cigarettes over a long period of time that increases the risk of all of these health challenges that come about from consistent ongoing smoking. The same thing when you're consuming these oils. Like, why is it that Alzheimer's is rapidly becoming the #1 cause of death, surpassing heart disease? Everyone who hears my voice, everyone who's breathing right now and living today, since we've all been alive, the #1 cause of death has been heart disease. And that's about to be surpassed by Alzheimer's. And then you have various other, outcomes of dementia. So what's going on with our brain health? You don't believe or think that some of these oils that we've been eating over the years is playing a role in why more people are getting Alzheimer's? More people today than ever in history are getting various types of cancer. Colon cancer has gone up 500% since the 1960s. What is going on? There's more people talking about health. That's because we don't have it. So Hexane is not good. It's not our friend. And for all the people that you know that are deep frying, okay, they're cooking, and I know the food tastes good. The food tastes good. The food tastes good. I know that. But look at the health challenges people are having right now. Look at how many dialysis centers are popping up all over the United States of America. I mean, you go to Maryland right now, you drive in certain neighborhoods, you got a liquor store, a church, dialysis center. Liquor store, church, dialysis center. And in the next 5 years, more people will be on dialysis. More people will die suddenly. More people will be hurting. And it comes down to the fact that we don't know how to eat, which is fine because no one really taught us. And we just don't know how to navigate around all the foods that we do have access to. Like, again, a lot of people are using certain oils believing that they're being healthier. Whole bunch of people. The difference between you and them is that you have the knowledge. You know how to navigate. And even the people who know how to navigate oftentimes are still indulging in the things that they know aren't helping them. How do you think that has you feeling? This is what I know. In the world of psychology, we know that the bigger the gap between what you know and what you do, the worse you feel about yourself. So your self-esteem is damaged, is low. And when you don't feel good about yourself, you don't love yourself, you're not willing to go the extra mile. You're not willing to show up for a coach appointment. You're not willing to do certain things that are going to actually help you because you don't really love yourself. I mean, and that's a whole other conversation. And if you don't love yourself, hey, I'm with you. I want to encourage you to love yourself. And if I'm working with you or with any of our coaches, I know that, hey, we will love you until you can start loving yourself. But this ingredient, hexane, is part of what's making these oils the oils that we are consuming. So one, they're oxidized, which means they're going to create a whole bunch of free radical damage in the body. We know that to be true. Then you got a significant amount of omega-6, so that's why people are feeling inflamed. Weight loss gets harder and harder. Many things get harder and harder. But there is a way we're addressing this. I'm watching this happen. And there are things that you can do. Like there's a supplement that I recommend that everyone would benefit from taking. Every person on the planet. Because it helps combat all of those free radicals and that inflammation that you have. And it's natural. And the best part is that it's proven. You can take a test at home. They can sample your blood, and inside of your blood, you have these cell membranes, and they can give you feedback, right? You got 30-something trillion cells in your body. They all have a membrane, and we can look and see exactly what makes up that membrane. And do you have the right amount of fats in there? And if you don't, there's a way to bring that back into balance. But again, my main thing today was to bring up seed oils again and to really highlight that the oil, even though it can cause damage, is already damaged by the time you bought it. It's already damaged. It's already oxidized. It's already been exposed. And then you're consuming it. And one of the things that the label's not telling you is that it has this ingredient that helps make it what it is called hexane. And hexane is listed or classified as a processing aid. That's the loophole on how they don't have to say or mention it as an ingredient on the label. This is crazy. This is crazy. Okay, so let me see. Any other questions for me while you got me? What's up, Jenny? Jenny says there is so many foods marketed as healthy with seed oils in them. It is crazy. And Jenny is absolutely correct. How do you know what's healthy or not? So instead of complaining, that's why I have coaches. And I have some people who were my client and they became a coach just because they wanted the knowledge. Because people want to know. It's a horrible feeling. You know what I mean? It's a horrible feeling when you're buying certain foods or you're buying certain supplements and you're buying them and following the guidelines that someone gave you, someone encouraged you. Maybe you saw a commercial, heard about it on TV, but regardless, you're doing it. You're going the extra mile. You're spending the money only to find out that the product wasn't working or it was actually causing damage. Whoa. Talk about a kick in the face. And there's a lot of people that this happens to. And guess what? It's going to be more people that it's going to happen to. Because then the other question is, okay, well, what's the truth? Is Robert right? Could he be right? Could Robert be wrong? That's what we mean when I say that our methodology and what we do is evidence-based and clinically proven. That says a lot. Now, if you're a novice, let's say you're not a nurse or you're not a scientist, you're not a doctor, then, okay, that would mean nothing. But when you're someone who has that background and they hear evidence-based and clinically proven, that should actually mean something to them. Now, not every nurse, because trust me, I have some clients who are nurses and they didn't get it. They were still confused when I talked about insulin and glucose. Not all of them, but a good amount. So not everyone who has the title of one of these professions will get it. And so for those of you who don't get it, this is what I want you to get. Whenever you hear evidence-based, that means that they didn't just make it up, that they have citations, they have data, studies, surveys to support what they are saying their program can do. And evidence-based is good, but it's not more important than clinically proven. You don't hear people saying clinically proven often. And if you do, then that means there's some data, there's some things that you can look at. Maybe they have a white paper, maybe it's been published, and you can look at that because it's clinically proven. So we're clinically proven because we've worked with 2 different organizations where data was collected by a non-biased, complete removed group. And there was no conversations that I had with them. And all I did was help people follow our diet-free life methodology. And as a result, we looked at the blood work, all the labs that the other company took. And then you had the other group that we're working with. So there's other parties involved. And we all are our own individual entities. And then you can look at the data without being biased. And so when we look at the data, we're clinically proven to lower triglycerides, to help people with their blood pressure, to help people with their hemoglobin A1C, their fasting glucose, their fasting insulin. And now I'm really working hard to put ourselves in a position where we can talk about how we can support someone who wants to improve their omega-3 index. So it's happening. Okay. Anyway, so let me change up before I say goodbye. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. All right. Any questions for me before I say goodbye? Let me see. What is Sandy talking about? Sandy says, it's like they don't have to be listed or have to list bioengineered foods if they put the smart label on the package. Sandy's on top of it, and the rules keep changing. Their goal is to follow the guidelines. The people making the guidelines know that they could be questioned. And so they just keep trying to figure out ways as they work with lobbyists and these companies to make it where they can keep selling their goods and be in compliance. So they do little things like what we just talked about. Make it where hexane doesn't have to be listed as an ingredient. Make it part of it's a processing aid. So if it has a category that you can put it in that's not ingredient, that's how they can get away with it. So interesting. Okay. All right, you guys. I am Robert Ferguson. I share because I care. If you want to learn more about anything that I bring up or mention, please reach out. We are here to help you. We want to help you. If you like to work with myself as a coach or one of our coaches, reach out. I can connect you with a coach. And if you want to learn about the supplement that I mentioned, reach out. I can tell you more about that. Other than that, have a blessed day. Stay out of trouble. Again, I share because I care. And I hope that this was informative for you guys. Remember, hexane is used. It's a degreaser. It is not our friend. So it's another reason why you want to choose your oils. And man, if you can cook without oil, I even say that's better. But butter, grass-fed butter, I'm all about it. It's funny. I don't even buy any butter unless it's grass-fed. And my kids know the difference. Same as pasteurized or pasture-raised eggs. My kids know the difference. Before they leave my house, they're like, Daddy, can we stop by the store and get some eggs? Because they like pasture-raised eggs. And now I have a friend, whoop, 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 who has her own chickens, her and her hubby and their whole family. The kids help with the house and the chickens. But every week, I'm going to get a dozen. Can't wait. I mean, I wish I lived in Indiana because I got some good friends that would hook me up with some eggs that they have their own chickens. Man, but if you have your own chickens, I mean, I take my hat off to you. But again, educate people about these oils. Encourage them not to use oils. Tell them to cook with butter, cook with tallow, cook with suet, cook with ghee. Again, butter is my go-to. And when I use an oil, it's extra virgin olive oil. Okay, that's what I do. Okay. Let me see here. What's up, Daphne? I'm glad you came in. I got to see Daphne in here today. All right, you guys. Until the next one, if you have questions, reach out. If there's something you want me to talk about, reach out. Again, and you see somebody cooking deep fried fish or chicken, ask them if they change the oil. If you're in the hood and you're cooking some deep fried fish, change the oil. Do not use the same oil to cook more fish. Yes, it's more expensive, but you would be doing a kind thing to replace the oil instead of not replacing it, which means you increase the carcinogenic effect. I'm talking about cancer. Let's not encourage that. You know what I mean? We can keep the food good. We can make this work, but sometimes we got to go above and beyond a little bit because we do want to be thinking about other people. All right. I'm Robert Ferguson. Until the next one. Peace out, everybody.